got things to say, but we both don't. So I just turn on the radio and our song started playing, and you changed it. Didn't even think about it, didn't even recognize that melody. No, it didn't mean a thing to you like it did to me. Do you even like Tom Petty? 'Cause I just realize whenever that record's playing, you never know the lines. I should've let a song upset me, but it's making me feel like if it doesn't mean much when it's on, then what about you and I? Do you even like Tom Petty? When I hear I won't back down, I go right back to your top down and blowing out your speakers, having that full moon fever. Like a foolish kid, I fell in love and at the top of our lungs. Now I'm wondering, do you even like Tom Petty? 'Cause I just realize whenever that record's playing, you never know the lines. I should've let a song upset me, but it's making me feel like if it doesn't mean much when it's on, then what about you?
Hey,
Alessandra Maris Dunn, look at you.
how are you?
In the flesh. Look at you in the compound. I love it. The creative compound.
Thank you. It's my living room. So
I love it. Are you in Nashville right now?
yeah, I'm in Nashville right now.
I love it.
It's raining out today. It's like the first time in a while. So
The weather's, we're coming to you from Nashville too. Weather's definitely changing a little bit.
yes, yeah. It's crazy because like it was beautiful and then it's raining. Nashville's so weird with the weather.
It is a little off. So how you been?
I've been good. Just been like getting off a high of my release show on Friday and kind of relaxing after putting out my EP. So it's been an adjustment. So yeah.
Absolutely. So for my audience that may not know, of course, you just released an EP, As Good As Gone. Came out, October 15th. Really well done. Loved it. And you just performed from the time of taping here at an iconic venue called the Five Spot here in Nashville. How did it feel to bring those songs to life, Allie?
I'm sorry, what did you say? I didn't get to
How did it feel to bring the songs up to life?
Oh yeah, it was unreal. I mean, like I'm so used to playing just me and my guitar, just because like Nashville, the songwriting scene, there's just like a lot of rounds and stuff like that. But I just like thrive in a full band setting. So it was the best. I had some of the best players with me who I love, and it was just so much fun. So I'm very grateful for it.
Absolutely. And you're right. There's so much talent here, and when you bring a full band on it, it has another element. And but yeah, I mean, look, the EP, and for my audience, gotta listen it because the songwriting is real, the hooks are catchy, and your voice really just shines through, Allie. It's really great. But before we get to the new music, let me ask you a little bit about your past and how we got here, because you have a fascinating story, right? So you grew up in Oakwood, in Staten Island, and your family was not necessarily the most musical as far as skill is concerned, but they did have a terrific record collection that kind of like set the DNA, right?
Yeah, my dad was a big collector of vinyl and like the CDs and stuff like that. So he definitely veered me towards the direction of where my music is right now. So it's interesting to think about.
Yeah. And you talked about the Eagles being your influence, and it sounds in your harmonies, right? Like, what is it about the Eagles, for example, that like really like shook you?
I mean, definitely their harmonies, which is funny for me to be like, I want to sound like the Eagles because it's just me and I'm a female. So like, there's no way. But their harmonies, like their the organic like feel of their songs, yet there's a little bit of a rock element, and their storytelling is just, it's my favorite. So everything about them pretty much I'm like obsessed with. So they were a huge inspiration in my style for sure.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And you have so many interests, and of course, you started elaborating on your musical soul with the records. But yeah, like you're okay, elaborating on how you got to your music. At the same time, you're really good at athletics. Like that's something people don't know about Allie Dunn, right? Like you're at St. Joseph Hill Academy, class of 2015, and you must have been like the most popular girl in school, right?
Oh my gosh, no. I mean, I I was just all over the place. I mean, I played basketball. I was school president, and I was kind of friends with every group in school. So I wasn't popular, but I think I was just friendly with everyone. So it was fun. It was interesting, but I played basketball in college and stuff. So there's definitely sides of me that people don't know. And it's funny that you bring it up because I don't really talk about it a lot because I honestly forget. I'm like, oh my gosh, I played basketball in college. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
To think about. So yeah, it's honestly, it's a fun fact, I guess.
It's a great fun fact because not only like you weren't like playing at the YMCA, you know, like with like on Sundays, like you were like almost like professional, Allie. Like you were like in college, like your future and all this stuff. It was amazing. In Jersey, you did it.
Yeah.
What skills did you take out of like this part of your life that you're applying right now to your artistic life?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think like basketball and sports, like it's all team oriented. And for me right now, I'm like building a team around my career and who I am as an artist. And it's finding those people who share the same values that I had when I played basketball, which is like pass first, always look for like your teammate. Like don't be the asshole, excuse my language. Don't be the person who, you know, is shooting threes every time, you know, like that type of moral standard and stuff like that. I take with me into my business side of things now. So yeah, that's definitely, it's definitely interesting to think about how that affected my decisions now.
I love that. That's a great analogy. You know, like co-writes are like, you know, scrimmages or something. I dig that. I dig that, Allie. Okay, so in the meantime, you know, you start flourishing your musical career while you're playing ball, and you decide to follow your mom's footsteps, actually, as a doctor at St. John's University. But before getting into that, you know, you start playing some gigs, Allie. You know, the Bitter End, Rockwood Hall. You're performing the national anthem at Egan Run in Staten Island, which is this iconic like race for like, you know, 9/11 heroes kind of stuff. What do you remember about this time of your career, right? Because now you're kicking butt, you're playing the 5 spot, you're so like amazing. But like this part of it where you're like building the muscle, like what do you remember from these days?
I just remember being torn, like between having so much passion for music, but also having that reality check of I have to pay the bills one day, so I should maybe be a doctor. So it was definitely like my heart and my mind were like in a constant fight all the time during that time of my life. So luckily, my passion decided to take over my like mind, and I decided just to go after music because that's what was pulling me so much. So it was definitely a little bit of a challenge, but I don't regret it one bit.
Was there a moment, Allie, like maybe you were in school and taking a class and you were in the middle of a test and you're like, I can't. Like, was there a moment where you had the breakthrough, where you said, like, this is not like I need to fulfill my purpose?
There was definitely a couple times where that happened, but I can remember one. I was actually taking my MCATs, and there was like the computer in front of me.
And the MCATs is like for medicine, a super hard test, right?
Yes, it's like the entry test to get into medical school, and you're like in a little cubby and you have like your computer in front of you and you're answering these questions. And I just remember I hit halfway through and I was like, what am I doing? I like, why am I doing this? It was like a revelation. It was crazy.
I love it. And the great thing about your story, Allie, is how the universe speaks to you. Like there were always like things that like were happening to you that may seem like coincidental, but they were guiding you. One of them was, you know, meeting your manager, Stuart, right? I know you've talked about this ad nauseum, and I apologize, but my audience doesn't know this part of your story. How did you meet your manager? Because I love that part of your story.
Yeah, no, I love telling people because it really is like, it's crazy. My day job was actually at an eyeglass store. And I would pre-test the patients like with these fancy machines. And I wasn't even supposed to work that day actually, but my coworker called in sick. So I went in last minute, and Stu happened to be a patient that day. And we just started chatting while I was literally like testing his eyes. And I was like, what do you do? And he told me how he like tour manages a bunch of big names and whatever. And I was like, oh, like, that's cool. And he's like, send me your music. And I didn't think anything of it. And I ended up sending him my master's that I just got back. And he was like, what? He was like, who are you? I I'm like, oh no, I'm Allie. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Right. I love that.
So it just organically like grew into this great working relationship. And I love that man. He's done so much for me so far. So grateful for that.
Unbelievable. And then, okay, you start making music. And then in 2019, you release Line of That Vinyl, a song. And you pretty much don't put any marketing muscle in it because you're just starting out. But the song like picks up steam. Like it gets like thousands of like streams. Like, was that like validating in a way? Like, okay, my stuff is good. Like I'm good.
I think it was definitely validating. And I think it kind of like turned me towards a direction which I should have gone with as soon as I moved here. But I'll be honest with you, like I put that song out and I was like, whatever, like it's not pop country, no one's gonna like it, like whatever. And so I started writing for other mainstream artists. But it turned out like that's what was sticking. So I trusted my gut and I just went down that road, and thank God I did. So
yeah, absolutely. Okay, pivoting a little to the new songs, Allie. I mean, there's so many we can talk to. They're so good, all of them. But let's start with Tom Petty. And the reason why I love this is because I live and breathe music. That's all I care about. And for me, there's deal breakers too. And there's things that you can live without. There's things that you can negotiate. But when someone doesn't speak your music language, I can't.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about this, because I think it's a real life story of you and an ex-boyfriend and Billy Joel's involved, right?
Yes. Yeah. I bought my former boyfriend tickets to see Billy Joel because he said he loved him. Our whole relationship, I thought that he loved him. Like I thought it was like a mutual thing, and we go to the concert and I knew things were going bad at that point in our relationship. And I remember, I think it was like Scenes from an Italian Restaurant came on, and I looked over and I was like about to sing it with him. And like, he looked at me like with fear. He was like, what are the words? I was like,
oh no.
I was like, oh yeah. I was like, oh no, are you kidding me? So it would like snapped in my head in that moment. I was like, this guy is a phony. Our whole relationship is a fake. And so I tried to write it for like with Billy Joel, but it didn't sing that well. So
right.
I mean, and I love Tom Petty, so we just swapped his name out.
Yeah, totally. Okay, and Need Somebody, that song is also great, and it's so great in many ways, just the way you wrote it and the way you connect with the soul. And we were talking about Billy Joel. He said in an interview once that when he starts writing a song, when he sits down and he's starting from zero, he's still afraid of the process. He says that he looks at the piano like shark with teeth. He said that. Like when you start writing a song like Need Somebody, that is so spectacular, driving on I-60, driving to Pennsylvania, just wonderful lyrics. Do you like how does it start? Are you afraid when you start a process? Like how is a song like this born?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's definitely fear. I think I had that Nashville cloud over me where I had to feel like I had to create clever and hooky lyrics, and the hook had to be like a wow moment. And I think with this song, it just spilled out of me. I was like, everybody needs somebody. And I was like, I'm just going to write this. And I don't care if it doesn't have like a hook, it is what it is. And it's coming from my heart. So that was the first song I honestly wrote that I didn't have any ulterior like hook motive, as they would say. So yeah.
Amazing. Love it, Allie. There's a rumor here in Nashville that you're going to play a little song for us. Is that an accurate rumor? On the Montbriand?
Yes. It's a lie. No, I'm kidding.
Are the bachelorettes true about this one?
Yes, it's true. I'll play you Tom Petty because we were talking about it.
Oh, amazing. And look at that guitar. Jesus, such a stunning piece of work.
Yeah, this is from it's actually from high school. It's just a DRS-1 Martin, but it's
there we go.
Tell me good these past couple years, so I love it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Allie.
All right, this one's called Tom Petty. Highway shouldn't be this loud. Tires on the road's the only sound, 'cause we've been sitting in silence, having talked for miles, and we
got things to say, but we both don't. So I just turned on the radio and our song started playing, and you changed it. Didn't even think about it. Didn't even recognize that melody. No, it didn't mean a thing to you like it did to me. Do you even like Tom Petty? 'Cause I just realized whenever that record's playing, you never know the lines. I shouldn't let a song upset me, but it's making me feel like if it doesn't mean much when it's on, then what about you? And do you even like Tom Petty? When I hear I won't back down, I go right back to your top down and blowing out your speakers, having that full mood fever. Like a foolish kid, I fell in love, free falling, play on repeat for months, singing at the top of our lungs. Now I'm wondering, do you even like Tom Petty? 'Cause I just realize whenever that record's playing, you never know the lines. I shouldn't let a song upset me, but it's making me feel like if it doesn't mean much when it's on, then what about you? And do you even like Tom Petty? Ooh, do you even like Tom Petty? You don't really like Tom Petty, 'cause I just realized whenever that record's playing, you never know the lines. I shouldn't let a song upset me, but it's making me feel like if it doesn't mean much when it's on, then what about you? And you don't really like Tom Petty. Ooh, you don't really like Tom Petty.
Beautiful, spectacular.
Thank
Loved
you.
it. Oh my God. So there you go. If anything else, for anyone who wants to connect with Allie and have a shot, you better bring your music A game here because she's a music connoisseur. So at least you can take that. Allie, thank you so much for your time. Wonderful stuff.
Thank you for having me, really.
Perfect. Allie Dunn, thank you so much. See you around town.
All right, bye.